Nate changed my life a few years ago. Just simply being my friend. So please, with me, welcome Nathan Osmond.
Thank you. Here's a secret. Earl Nightingale put out this little gold record, by the way. It became a gold record. It's called The Strangest Secret. And he said this. He says that you become what you think about most of the time. You become what you think about most of the time. Now, there's an exception to every rule. Otherwise, every young man would be a young woman by the age of 16. But you become what you think about most of the time. Isn't it funny that they call that a secret? Isn't that kind of basic knowledge? I mean, you got Rhonda Byrne writing the secret, right? The secret. And what does she say? The exact same thing. You got Osmond saying it. The best secret in the world, what is that? You become what you think about most of the time. One of my favorite books says that as a man thinketh, so is he, or so shall he be. And that book's been out a long time. So the secret's out, folks. You become what you think about most of the time. So my question to you is, what you thinking about? How many parents do we have here in the room? Any parents? Congratulations, one of the best callings in the world. I have 3 little boys, and I can guarantee you, just like me, there's not a single parent in this room who's not absolutely concerned about the type of kids that your kids are hanging out with. Why is that? They become just like them, is that right? Okay, so my question now is, at what age does that become irrelevant? I love what John Andrew Holmes once said. He says, never tell a young person that something cannot be done. God had been waiting centuries for somebody ignorant enough of the impossible to do that thing. Isn't that a great quote? I love that. If you've never failed, you never lived. I love what Abraham Lincoln says, my concern is not that you have failed, whether you are content with your failure. Isn't that interesting that we live in a society where we're told more about our limitations than our possibilities? Have you ever heard the word no? N-O. Those are some great initials. Those are my initials. When people tell me no, you know what they're doing? They're cheering me on. Repeat after me. Make no your vitamin. Make no your vitamin. He looked at me with the eyes of Gertie who said, treat a man the way he is, and he only becomes worse. And treat a man the way that he could be, and then he becomes what he should be. I believe that in life sometimes you've got to believe in somebody else's belief in you until your own belief kicks in. My father believed in me. How many of us talk to ourselves? Yeah. Those who aren't raising your hand are saying, I don't know, do I talk to myself? We all talk to ourselves. And it's healthy. It is. You know, the thing is sometimes the most riveting conversations you ever have are the ones you have with you. And sometimes the only good thing you're ever going to hear about you are the things that you say to you. So be good to you. Quit beating yourself up. You know, if a person doesn't laugh at themselves, leaves the job for everyone else to do. And most important, folks, like Henry Ford put it, you can't build a reputation based on what you're going to do. Talk is cheap. Action is everything. You got to go the distance. Do you know your why? Do you know why you showed up here at the M5? You know what how is none of your business? Sometimes we don't get to what we need to be doing because we're so worried about how we're going to do it. How is none of your business? That's our business. We're going to show you how. But I love this book I read one time called Man's Search for Meaning. Dr. Viktor Frankl, an Auschwitz survivor, a Nazi camp survivor. This guy had passion. He had something he was living for. And he says in his book, in the very first chapter, don't aim at success. For success, like happiness, cannot be pursued. It must ensue. And can only do so as an unintended side effect to one's dedication to a cause greater than oneself. Think about that. In layman's terms, what did he mean by that? If you know your why, you can endure almost anyhow, he put it. And I love that. I know what my why is. See, oftentimes with our work and our jobs, we get tied down with this belief system that I work for a boss. I work for a company. I work for a supervisor. Baloney. You better put that garbage out of your mind. One of my favorite billboards, speaking of highways and real estate, said this: the people you work for are waiting for you at home. Did you get that? The people you work for are waiting for you at home. And when I saw this, I knew my why. But that's my why. You guys need to figure out your why. Repeat after me. Life is hard. Life is hard. Say it like you mean it. Life's hard. You know why I have you say that? Does that sound like a motivational speaker? But once you come to grips that life is hard, life is tough, guess what? You can get beyond that. So what? I had a chance to work with a guy who's a great speaker. He's completely blind. He wasn't always blind. He went blind at 23. He wrote a great book, said, I'm blind, so what? I love that attitude. But understand what it's going to take to get you there. The next one is focus. F. Focus. All right? Do we live in a very noisy world? Yeah. Any of you watching television last night, you saw every freak and their mother selling you cranes and drains and smoke and blue mirrors, and you buy it because it's shiny. You know? The thing is you got to focus. There's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of people who will tell you every reason in the book why real estate is a bad thing to get into right now. Right? Do you think I told my family I was going to Nashville to record? No. You know why? I didn't want to be talked out of my dream. Come on, you come from the Osmond family. Why in the heck would they do that? Are you related to somebody that loves you so much they don't want to see you get hurt? Yeah. Have you ever had somebody just love you so much that they discouraged you from doing what you really ultimately wanted to do in life? I knew my family well enough that if I told them what I wanted to do, they may try and talk me out of it. So the best thing to do is just go do it. Don't tell anybody. And once you start getting the results that you want, then they're going to start asking you questions. He says, if you're ever racing a car and you get into a tailspin, do not look at the wall. Did you hear that? Do not look at the wall, because if you do, guess what you're going to hit? The wall. Isn't that interesting? He says, if you'll focus your direction, your focus down to where you want to go, down the track, the body naturally pulls the car out of the tailspin and you start going where you want to go. Our problems are those little things that we see when we take our eyes off of our goals, our targets. So stay focused. And last but not least, you gotta have fight. You gotta put the oomph in triumph. In fact, I went and saw my doctor. He said it's much worse. He says, you have ADOLSD. And what's that? He says, you can't sit down and say, oh, look, shiny things. You know? Stay focused. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I will search the world. I will face its harms. You always have to milk the ending. Till I find my hero's welcome waiting in your arms. Thank you once again. Woo! All right. Start those engines. Thank you so much.
So what are you waiting for? Give your audience an experience they will never forget. Put Nathan Osmond on your calendar today.